I love when major historical events happen, don't you? Right? Such a rush, eh? Ha ha! 20-year-old nerdy kid named Thomas Crooks gets on top of a roof 150 yards away from former President Trump with an AR-style 5.56 rifle, takes, I think, 4 shots. Reporting's a little sketchy on that. Puts a bullet through Trump's right ear. Killed a Trump supporter named Corey Comparatori, a 50-year-old volunteer fire chief. He also injured 2 other rally attendees who are currently in stable condition. Let's watch the raw footage of this chaotic moment.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Move to the spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you.
Ready?
Move.
Up.
Move. Go.
Up. Hawkeye's here.
Hawkeye's here. Move it to the spare.
Spare, get ready. Spare, get ready.
We ready?
Down. Shooters down.
Are we good?
Shooters down.
Shooters down. Are we good to move?
Shooters down. We're good to move.
We're clear.
We're
Let's
clear.
move.
We're
Let's
clear.
move.
We're clear.
Come on.
Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes.
Got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold that in your head, it's bloody.
So we gotta move to the bus. Move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay. My shoes down. My shoe.
Watch out.
Wait.
Ooh. That's exciting. I love that Trump's first concern when he's given the all clear to rise is his shoes. Where are my shoes? Damn it, my shoes! And anyone who's ever told me that Trump is not a politician, bullshit. His first instinct after being shot at was, what a great chance for a photo op. Fight. And he was right. Look at this photo. Donald Trump, bloodied but unbowed, raising a fist in defiance as the American flag streams majestically above his head across a clear blue sky. It's like something out of a Michael Bay movie. You want to tell me this guy ain't a politician? Nonsense. He's the greatest political genius of our lifetime, at least when it comes to campaigning and crowd work. Wow. Everything he was trying to do with that cringe-ass, mean-mugging mugshot, he actually accomplished here. This is easily a Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph. And it's not the only great photo to come out of this incident. What about this one, where you can literally see the bullet streaking by Trump's head? Now that is absolutely bonkers. What do we know about this would-be assassin at this point? Thomas Crooks was just 20 years old. Just a kid, really. We know that, according to a former classmate, he was the victim of relentless bullying.
He was bullied almost every day.
In what way? Can you explain?
I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays, so they're gonna see someone like that, and they're gonna target him because they think it's funny or whatever, so it's the best way I can describe it.
We know that he gave $15 to the Progressive Turnout Project in 2021. Rumors have spread that he also gave money to Act Blue, but those turned out to be nonsense. In November of 2022, he registered to vote as a Republican. We all know that he was wearing a t-shirt for the YouTube gun channel Demolition Ranch. Now, some have claimed that this is a right-wing gun channel, but from what I can tell, the content of the channel is mostly apolitical, although the channel's creator is definitely right-wing. But why would a gun-loving, right-wing Republican want to kill Trump? He's like the favorite guy among right-wing, gun-loving Republicans, huh? Now, if you ask lefties, they'll tell you the kid was probably so far right that he viewed Trump as like too moderate. And if you ask the right, he was just a secret left-wing infiltrator who pretended to be right-wing. Now, if you ask me, who knows, right? I mean, who fucking really knows? Maybe he just wanted to impress Jodie Foster. A lot of conservatives are pissed at the Secret Service right now. Like Matt Walsh took this opportunity to be sexist against the female Secret Service agents. A lot of people are upset about this lady who had momentary trouble reholstering her weapon. Seems kind of silly to me, especially since the main criticism of the Secret Service is that the male counter-sniper was apparently aware of the presence of Thomas Crooks on the rooftop nearby and didn't open fire until after Crooks started shooting. I even saw one commentator urging people to compare these women to the men who were protecting Reagan back in the day. Now that seems like a pretty idiotic comparison. I mean, Reagan's Secret Service clearly failed far worse than Trump's did. Reagan was shot in the chest with a bullet narrowly missing his heart at a range of 15 feet. And they didn't even kill John Hinckley Jr. He's alive and well, recording bad folk songs on YouTube.
Hello everybody, this is another one of my original songs.
The fact that the counter-snipers didn't act more quickly after identifying a possible threat has got some of the right pretty riled up, though. The words inside and job have been cropping up a bit in their circles. And I watch those things. Oh, yes, I do. One Republican congressman, Mike Collins of Georgia, even just said outright that Joe Biden sent the orders. All because Joe Biden once said at a rally, it's time to put Trump in a bullseye. Yeah, I'm sure Mike Collins would never use violent rhetoric against his political opponents, right? He's much too civil for such things. Yeah, come on, you know the gag. Cue the clip of him doing exactly the thing.
Well, if they won't do it, Mike Collins will. Send me to Washington.
What are you gonna do? But why didn't the counter-snipers fire on Thomas Crooks, right? Why didn't they fire? I mean, you see a kid on a roof with a gun right next to the political rally. I mean, you figure he's probably gonna try to assassinate that guy over there. That important guy. You know, or at the very least, like, let's say they weren't sure the kid was a threat. Like, wouldn't you at least tell Trump, hey, get off the stage, there's like a potential threat going on? Now, we don't have the answers to those questions yet, but obviously we're all, very interested. Especially in light of stories like this one told to the BBC by a Trump rally-goer, wherein the rally-goer claims that multiple event attendees saw the shooter, brought him to the attention of the authorities, but the authorities did nothing.
We noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle, absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police are like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof, we can see him from right here. We see him, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up
you
there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling
Yep.
the police and the Secret Service.
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
Binoculars.
him? Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here?
Now, apparently, there was a local cop, not a Secret Service guy, but just a local cop from the area that tried to confront Thomas Crooks on the roof, but he was unable to engage. The following is from a CNN article.
A local police officer saw the gunman on the rooftop during former President Donald Trump's Pennsylvania rally on Saturday, but was unable to engage him. Butler County Sheriff Michael T. Sloop told CNN's Pamela Brown on Sunday. Sloop said that Butler Township officers received calls about a suspicious person outside the perimeter of the rally and went looking to find that person. The initial calls did not indicate the suspicious person had a gun, he said. During the search for the suspicious person, officers with Township Police discovered that the gunman was on the roof, and one local officer hoisted another to get up on a ledge. The shooter turned around, saw the officer peering over, and pointed his gun at him. The officer let go of the ledge to take cover and save his own life. The gunman then started firing from the rooftop. Trump, who says he was shot in the ear, was rushed off stage with blood on his face.
Here's another interview with an event attendee who says that security at this rally was extraordinarily lax compared to previous Trump rallies that he's been to. Let's take a quick look at that.
We just heard the mayor there of Slippery Rock talk about the other Butler rally that he had been to. You were talking to me about that rally as well. Tell me the message you wanted me to understand, because there was something different about that rally versus this rally that you noticed.
Yeah, my daughter and I went, I guess it was 4 years ago, at the Butler Airport, not even 5 miles from here. It was an awe-inspiring event. We were just like, wow. But the one thing we noticed, we walked in there, and her and I, you know, we're close. And the one thing we noticed that the airport has a lot of hangars, buildings kind of like this, but they hold planes. Every rooftop of every hangar had 3, 4, 5 guys on top of it with
When
guns.
you say guys, snipers? Law
Yes,
enforcement with long guns on top?
Long guns,
Okay.
yes, and even some of them in the sniper position. First thing I did when I got here yesterday was I did a complete look around at every rooftop. And I said to myself, that's strange. I don't see one cop, sniper, nothing. I don't see anything. And I just thought, that was kind of weird.
Now, obviously, guys, anything being told to you by Joe Blow off the street should be taken with a grain of salt. But there do seem to be some serious questions about the security at this event. The Secret Service is claiming that, well, you know, that rooftop that Thomas Crooks was on, that was outside of our security perimeter. Okay, but like, why would it be? Thomas Crooks was on a rooftop about 400 feet away from Trump. A standard military sniper can reliably hit a target 2,500 to 4,000 feet away. So how the fuck is 400 feet outside of the Secret Service security perimeter? Does that make any sense to you guys? It doesn't make any sense to me. You know what else doesn't make any sense? The fact that I have to kind of agree with something that the contemptible moron Libs of TikTok said on her Twitter page. She quotes Joe Biden as saying, most importantly, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Trump is a threat to this nation. And then she juxtaposes Biden saying that with a picture of Trump's bloody ear. Her point is wrong, of course. She's trying to say that Joe Biden's rhetoric inspired the shooter, which is dumb. Joe Biden's rhetoric has never inspired anyone. You want proof? Just watch Joe Biden's stumbling, bumbling, mush-mouth remarks immediately after the shooting. And I'm sorry to have to subject you guys to Joe Biden, so I'll be putting a cute kitten in the corner of the screen as well.
Thanks for coming, folks. I've been thoroughly briefed by all the agencies in the federal government as to the situation, based on what we know now. I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. And I want to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies, that have been engaged in making sure that people and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if I'm not able to if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is that the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I'm able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well. So far, it appears he's doing well, number one. Number two, that there's thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Has anything happened? They learned any more in the last couple hours. So thank you very much, and I hope I get to speak to them tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do. Okay?
Mr. President, do you think this was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough to. I have an opinion, but I don't have any facts. So I want to make sure we have all the facts before I make any more comments. Thank you.
Are you worried for his own safety? Was the security failing, Mr. President?
But Libs of TikTok does make an accidentally good point with her tweet, which is this. If Donald Trump is really a threat to this nation, a threat to democracy, an authoritarian nightmare who attempted an insurrection, then, what's with all this civility politics gobbledygook coming out of the Democrats right now? Like, I thought this guy was the epitome of evil and the source of all wrong in the world. So what the hell is the narrative now? You know that dire threat to democracy that is pure evil and never did anything nice in his whole damn life? Bad news. He's hurt. Like, what? Biden has actually partially suspended his campaign, pulling negative ads about Trump. So I guess the threat to all of democracy that will bring about a fascist takeover of this country with Project 2025 is now an okay guy because he got an ouchie, right? Is that how this works? You get shot through the ear and your entire moral character just magically is like different? I didn't know that. Why didn't we just shoot Jeffrey Dahmer through the ear then? Apparently that would have reformed him, right? And we can see in this Face the Nation clip that apparently the attempted assassination of Donald Trump has succeeded in killing the movement to oust Joe Biden. Because now I guess we're all supposed to be on this kumbaya unity kick.
I've been speaking with some top Democrats. They believe that those Democrats who have the concerns about President Biden are now standing down politically, will back President Biden because of this fragile political moment. All of that talk about the debate faded almost instantly among my top Democratic sources as this unfolded. Say it's time for the country to stick together, and that means Democrats sticking together as well.
Okay. Yeah, so Trump just had the best photo op of his life, showing him to be a roaring tiger in the face of death, but let's still run Grandpa Bumblefuck against him. Okay, good idea. Good call, Democrats. You got this. I hope you idiots didn't just civility us into theocracy. At least Christian B. Wagner will be happy, though. He wants a dictator. Good for him. No, really, I mean, this is good for him. It's also apparently good for Blair White somehow. She says that Donald Trump took a bullet for this country. If you're voting for anyone else, you can go fuck yourself. That's where I'm at. It's funny that she's telling others to go fuck themselves while she is literally fucking herself by voting for a guy that openly wants to make this country worse for trans women like her. I also find the notion that Trump took a bullet for this country pretty silly. He took a bullet in this country is about all that you can really say. Like, if Biden had been shot in the ear at a rally, would Blair White then be voting for Biden? I somehow doubt it. Or what about Megyn Kelly here, who's letting us know that no one gives a damn if he, the shooter, was a registered Republican or Dem or Green Party member. He just tried to assassinate President Trump. I kind of feel like you'd be singing a different tune if he'd been registered as a Democrat, Megyn. I kind of feel like his party affiliation only became irrelevant once it turned out that you shared it. Or what about this guy, just Mart? who posted a picture of all the late night talk show hosts and asked, "Do you think they feel responsible?" No, Mart, I don't think they do. I also don't think they are. No one was radicalized into assassinating the president by Jimmy Fallon. The only thing Jimmy Fallon is responsible for killing in this country is comedy. But maybe you've got a point. A lot of people have been talking some really polarizing rhetoric lately. Even after Trump got his ouchie, a lot of people have been treating it like it's just some kind of joke. We should treat Trump with the same respect Trump would show others in similar situations, right? Like, remember how nice Trump was to his political opponents when they suffered violence at the hand of a psychopath trying to kill them?
We had no terror during my administration. The only terror we had was Nancy Pelosi, who's a crazed lunatic. She's a lunatic. She is a crazed lunatic. What the hell was going on with her husband? Let's not ask. Let's not ask. I'll withdraw that statement. By the way, she's got a wall around her house. Obviously, in that case, it didn't work very well, did it? It didn't work.
Wow! Let's all learn from his shining example of statesmanly civility. What a fucking class act. I sure hope no one ever shoots him through the ear. That would be a real tragedy. I've seen a lot of leftists saying, by the way, this shooter just handed Trump the election. Good work, shooter. You just handed Trump the election. First of all, Trump was already going to win this election. He's running against a less charismatic version of the Crypt Keeper. So, I mean, that's a pretty easy win. And, you know, an inch to the right, and the shooter would have pretty much guaranteed that Trump would not win re-election. So, you know, But aside from all these very hilarious jokes and nonsense I'm doing here, how do I really feel about all this? Isn't that the most important question? How does the amazing atheist feel about what's happened with this failed Trump assassination? That's what America's really hankering to know right now, right? Well, I can tell you this much. How I feel right now is exactly the same way I'd feel if this had happened to Biden. Take that for what it's worth. One last thing before I wrap this video up. Little what-if scenario. What would have happened if that bullet had been a bit more to the right and Trump had got spattered all over Pennsylvania? With just under 4 months left until the election, I don't think MAGA could fill the power vacuum in time. And they'd be acting absolutely deranged right now, saying all kinds of wacky shit. I mean, you know, wackier than normal, if you can even picture that. So I think the Democrats would win the White House, probably amidst a firestorm of political violence. In the 4 uninspired years to follow, MAGA would definitely figure out who their new daddy is, and we'd be right back to where we are now. So ultimately, the best argument against most political violence, ultimately, is not a moral one, but a practical one. It just rarely has the ability to solve anything. Trump is not the source of the shittiness that MAGA represents, he's just a symptom of it. The source is much deeper and more fundamentally difficult to challenge. So my advice is this: don't shoot Trump, because it won't work. On a personal level, let me just say that Trump is a megalomaniacal narcissist, and those are his good qualities. I honestly kind of like the guy, on a personal level. He reminds me of my dad, and sure, he's bad for America, but he's not what's wrong with America. The problem is not Trump or Biden. The problem is not even people who vote for people like Trump or Biden. The problem is a system that's so rotten that it makes people think it's a good idea, or at least a pragmatic need, to vote for people like Trump or Biden. There's no point in killing a politician, unless you think Jodie Foster might be into it, huh? You know, is she? Is she into it? No, she's not into it. Okay, so there's no point in killing a politician. It's the entire American social, economic, political, and military system itself that needs to die. I'm the Amazing Atheist.